Joining us now from Dallas, Texas, Representative Scott Sanford, Republican from Collin County, north of Dallas. Representative Sanford, great to have you.
Thank you, John. Good morning. Appreciate you having me on the show.
Now, just to get our cards on the table, okay, we're in Virginia. We don't like the Cowboys. We don't like the Rangers, and we don't like the Mavericks. Just want to toss that out there. So we're on the same page.
That's okay. We understand, but we do have a great Texan, graduate of Baylor University, Heisman Trophy winner RG3, playing in the Washington area.
Unfortunately, he is playing for Washington.
Oh, he'll be back. He'll be back.
We'll have to see how that plays out. Anyway, look, great to have you with us. You know, we've talked on our show a lot about the ills of tolls, about government and private road builders collaborating and conspiring to charge ridiculous fees for access to simple things like public transportation roads. Now, my listeners in Hampton Roads, you know all too well about the pocketbook pain of tolls on the downtown and midtown tunnels. They're disasters. And for my Richmond, Central Virginia listeners, you can't cross the James River or get to the airport without paying one of these tolls, and they go on for forever. Our listeners in Northern Virginia and D.C., they know about tolls, but the scourge is that tolls just isn't infecting Virginia. Texas has tried to deal with these for a decade. They know the pain. And Scott Sanford, a Republican north of Dallas, you've been the leader in your state in the fight against tolls. How do we stop them here?
Oh, well, as you pointed out, toll roads, unfortunately, are popping up like tumbleweeds in Texas. And that's bad for all of us all the way around. It takes the hard-earned money of our constituents out of their pockets. It raises commercial freight costs. It means higher business expenses, of course, and increased prices at the register for all of our consumers. Mm-hmm. And tolls are boxing in our communities in ways that I believe are economically harmful, and they just kind of disturb the natural order of things. You know, in Texas, over the last couple of decades, we've had a lack of transportation policy that has led us to this, which has allowed a policy of toll roads by default. We also, during that time, we made social programs a higher priority, with transportation being the loser in the state budget process. Right. Now, understand in Virginia, you had a Republican governor, Bob McDonnell. He pursued more tolls, and the Democrat in the White House wants to repeal a longstanding ban on tolling existing interstate lanes around the country. Yep. And then Democrat governors in Missouri and Connecticut want to impose new interstate tolls. And then the governors of Ohio and Kentucky, one a Republican, the other a Democrat, they've partnered together to support tolls on a major bridge crossing the Ohio River that links their two states. So I don't see this as a partisan issue at all. It's a consumer issue. It's a family issue. It's a business issue. And as far as I'm concerned, fighting to spread toll roads is a consumer protection issue.
Bigger and bigger government getting in your wallet, cronyism. I mean, it just all plays into the whole thing. If there's anything I can't stand, it's any of these PPPs, because at the end of the day, consumers get ripped off. And, you know, Representative Sanford, you just mentioned it. You know, tolling is a fight that's going on throughout the United States. And as you explained, in Texas, tolls have exploded like crazy. And you look at Texas and you see, we just had your former governor, Rick Perry, in our state 2 weeks ago at a major fundraiser, basically saying, you know, Obama is the welfare state, I'm the freedom state. Also pursued this tolling policy, more than 500 miles of toll roads in your state just over the last decade. What's the deal?
I believe a lot of it has to deal with budgetary pressures and the government getting away from its core priorities, from understanding its core competencies in what the government is supposed to pursue. And so, therefore, transportation ended up being the loser in the deal, as I mentioned before. It dropped down on the priority list, and in the minds of the leadership at the time, some other social programs, became higher priority and received better funding. But we're working on it, John, and we've got a package of legislation that would move the decision-making power, because the people feel left out of this whole process. We want to move that decision-making power on the decisions of toll closer to the citizens. We also want to require a plan for all current toll roads to be completely eliminated in Texas, but it's going to take time. So we're proposing a study to get us there in 30 years. And in the meantime, we want to give tax credits for tolls paid to these agencies, both to businesses and to families.
Now, I've got a clip to play, and I want to talk about what you're doing specifically, Representative Sanford, to stop these.
Okay, so
this is our song.
Oh, no, not again.
Look, I used to spend hours in traffic, but now I arrive to meetings refreshed. This new road, there's no congestion. I just get on and go.
Now, a better way between Austin and San Antonio. SH 130.
Okay. So.
Oh, my.
What? So what are you specifically doing to stop these?
Okay. Well, for instance, right now, the decisions to build toll roads and to collect tolls, they rest upon a unelected regional commission, okay? So it's a quasi-governmental entity, and the citizens don't know this commission. They can't vote the leaders in or out of it. They just have to swallow the decisions that are made by the bureaucracy. All right, we want to change this, and we want to require 3 approvals by elected officials, in our case, in Texas, county commissioners. And so these locally elected officials would have to approve the study. Okay, 3 phases: approve the study, approve the design, and approve the implementation of any toll roads in the future in their area. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this way citizens will have a say through their elected representatives, and gives many opportunities for them to give their input and to vote in or out their elected representatives based upon their work. And another piece of legislation would require our Department of Transportation to present to the legislature in the next session a plan to pay off and make free all current tollways. And another piece of legislation prohibits the conversion of any free lanes to any type of tolled lane in the future. That's something we're fighting today in Texas, is the conversion of free lanes to managed toll lanes. Mm-hmm. And additionally, in order to provide some level of immediate relief, as we're trying to get there to a toll-free Texas, we're proposing legislation that will give both businesses and individuals tax credits for the tolls that they've paid over the last 12 months. So our aim is to bring the people's voice back to Texas transportation policy, and we truly believe that mobility should not be only the domain of the wealthy.
Right.
And we want to move the mobility should be for everybody, it should be for all Texans, and particularly to give the input and decision-making process closer to the people.
Financial guy by trade, you're a CPA. One of the things that drives people bananas about these tolls are actually 2 things I want to get your comment on. Number 1 is you have the tolls are in perpetuity. So you pay for the roads and then you just keep paying them forever. Second thing is, when you talk about tolling the interstates, we already paid for the interstates. We're already paying for the upkeep of the interstates. So the only thing the tolls do is to extract money from people for something that's already paid for. So all it is a tax, right?
Oh, absolutely. If transportation is a core function of government, then the cost, any cost taken or extracted from the people for that is a tax. So in this case, tolls definitely are taxes.
Now, then the other thing is, back in the day, you had toll collectors, and there was a big argument that, well, if you get rid of the tolls, you eliminate jobs. And even though 80% of what you're paying is just going to the toll administrators and toll collectors, now with everything being electronic, you have no way out of these things. And in Virginia, the abuse is bizarre. I mean, we have people that it was mailed to their toll violation was sent to the wrong address or somebody else, and all of a sudden they owe thousands of dollars. They're impounding their vehicles. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, Texas has also experienced that sort of thing firsthand. Just a couple of days ago in the Dallas Morning News, there was a report that chronicled the admission of a major Texas toll road operator that 192,000 erroneous transactions occurred.
It's unbelievable.
I'm grateful they admitted it, but that is just, as a quasi-governmental agency, that's just wrong to be able to have that type of authority and extraction power. And these notices actually are going out as debt collection notices, and they scare the people who receive them because of the amount of the fees and the penalties that they put on these. There's another story recently. We just had a couple of ice storms in Texas, and the Dallas Morning News revealed that drivers of what they call the DFW connector, which is variable toll rates, charged some drivers $7 during the middle of an ice storm for traveling 4 miles.
Unbelievable. I mean, it's just such a ripoff. And, if we continue to allow the politicians to do this to us, at the end of the day, Representative Sanford, we get what we deserve. Now, one way to take a stand against efforts to recklessly slap tolls on freeways, and by the way, they're called freeways for a reason. They're free, ostensibly.
Absolutely.
Now, is to join the Alliance for Toll-Free Interstates, which is fighting this Obama toll plan and standing up for drivers like you are, Representative Sanford. How do people get involved? Because what I tell my audience all the time is if you sit on the sidelines and complain, you're not going to get anything done. And if you look at what this president has been able to do with a phone and a pen, if you don't think he's trying to find a way to tax every interstate in the United States, you're crazy.
John, you're absolutely right. I would encourage your listeners to be fantastic citizens and constituents by communicating with your elected representatives what your expectations are regarding transportation policy and tolls in your area. But I would also encourage folks to get involved with the Alliance for Toll-Free Interstates, and it's online at www.tollfreeinterstates.com. That's tollfreeinterstates.com. And there's just a wealth of information about getting engaged and keeping the interstates toll-free. And you can start by signing the Alliance's online petition. And we all know that funding roads is critical for commerce and for freedom of movement and mobility, just essential American values. But tolling existing interstates is absolutely the worst possible approach. It's a bad deal for businesses, for taxpayers, and for governments.
So what happens, and it's a tough fight.
Yeah.
Because you have these, I don't know what you call them, crony capitalists, but you got these PPPs involved where government in bed with certain elements of business who are then sending big dollars and being big donors of the policy behind it. They have an army of lobbyists. And the only way to fight these, Representative Sanford, is for people to stand up and say they don't want tolls, right?
Absolutely. Toll-Free Texas is a movement that is simply a reaction to what the people are saying to their elected representatives. So if it's not for the people, we won't change this policy. So speak up, be involved, and let your elected representative know where you stand.
Toll-Free Texas. We need a toll-free Virginia. Now, let me tell everybody where to go. Again, what is it? www.tollfreeinterstates.com. Go to www.tollfreeinterstates.com. Fill out that petition right there. Get involved. Because if you don't get involved, you're not going to be able to drive up the street without paying a toll in perpetuity. We want to thank Texas Representative Scott Sanford from suburban County, Dallas, for being with us and for fighting the good fight, stopping tolls in Texas. Now we got to stop them in Virginia. Representative Sanford, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, John, and best wishes.
All right, Representative Scott Sanford.